Hello everyone, welcome back to Wikos. My name is LukeRipa, and today I'm going to review for you Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan's very first biopic. Now, it's no secret that Chris Nolan is one of my favorite directors. His work doesn't always hit me, perhaps, but it's clear that he has a very precise vision and carries it out to the fullest. And for those who don't know, The Dark Knight is my all-time favorite movie. Full disclosure, Wikos operates from Milan, Italy, and the film doesn't come out here until August 23rd. Luckily enough, my father had to fly out to Dublin to meet some clients right when the movie was being released everywhere else but here. So I tagged along and I caught the very first IMAX screening at the Cineworld in downtown Dublin. Now, for those who didn't pay attention in history class, Oppenheimer is the so-called father of the atomic bomb, as he was the lead scientist of the Manhattan Project at Los Alamos in New Mexico. As I said before, it's a biopic, Nolan's first. The movie starts as a courtroom drama, as Nolan uses Oppenheimer's Atomic Energy Commission hearing as a frame to tell the character's story. And he does the same exact thing with Lou Strauss Senate hearing to tell the latter's side of the story. This frame story structure allows for an alternative and mosaic-like retelling of events in a non-linear manner, so much so that the movie's overall narrative structure ends up being extremely similar to Memento, although with a completely different meaning and function. Oppenheimer also shares the use of color and black and white with Nolan's second picture. As you may have noticed in the trailer already, Oppenheimer's sequences are in color, but when the narrative shifts to Lou Strauss' point of view, they are in black and white. The result is a phenomenal piece of storytelling that glues to your seats for almost 3 hours. Nolan in fact pushes the envelope with a genre that more often than not relies on linearity for its storytelling, making this film the most innovative biopic since 2015's Steve Jobs from Danny Boyle and Aaron Sorkin, with the further achievement of wanting to be more historically accurate with the latter. Everything here moves perfectly in sync with Chris's vision and objective for the final result. Every frame, every cut, every scene is told the way it is right there and then, for a precise reason, and yes, for the voluntarily puzzling storytelling he accustomed his audience to, furthering the entertainment of the product. As I said earlier, the movie is indeed dialogue heavy. I'd say 95% of the time is people talking, fighting, reacting, gazing, and thinking. While a good screenplay is a must if you want to achieve something like this, and Nolan's script is nothing short of amazing and perhaps one of the best written in a long while, you indeed need superb performances from both cast and director to achieve what was achieved here. I am, much like many others, constantly praising Nolan in this review. So I'm going to leave it myself by saying that his direction is confirmed to be once again one of the best in Hollywood at the moment. But again, the cast is a freakishly big applause for what they did here in Oppenheimer. Cillian Murphy plays the titular character, and the result is an hypnotic and visceral performance, reaching the goal in taking you into Oppenheimer's mind and soul, in a roller coaster of emotion perfectly portrayed for the screen. Same can be said about Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Lou Strauss, hypnotic as well, but exquisitely Machiavellian yet profoundly political and ultimately human. This is his best role since Charlo, easily. I love his 11-year-long work as Tony Stark in the MCU, but clearly here he is on another level. Both Cillian and RDJ have a guaranteed nomination at the Oscar for leading and supporting respectively. It will be criminal if that won't be the case. Another who will very likely earn a nomination is Emily Blunt. Kitty Oppenheimer is a very complex character, as she withstands and supports her husband's persona for better and worse. And Emily does a fantastic job at being that character that is right beside him even when you don't see her. Quite literally, since she's in the movie from the very beginning, just out of focus. Even the rest of the opulent cast does a fantastic job, and allow me to read the names because it's almost infinite. Matt Damon, Florence Pugh, David Krumholtz, Josh Hartnett, Alden Ehrenreich, Josh Clark, James Darcy, Kenneth Branagh, Jack Quaid, Josh Peck, Dane Dehan, Benny Safdie, Matthew Modine, David Dastmalchian, Alex Wolff, Rami Malek, and a couple of others that I won't spoil. It's easily going to be this year's biggest ensemble, even bigger than Dune Part 2. Nolan's vision is yet enhanced by Hoyte van Hoytema's cinematography. Every frame is not only beautiful but extremely functional to the story, and the duo to me did a better job here overall when compared to Interstellar, Dunkirk and Tenet. Ludwig Göransson on the other hand is at his second collaboration with Christopher Nolan after Tenet. His score here knows when to be subtle, invasive and even overwhelming or absent, making yet another category for which Oppenheimer will earn an Oscar nom. Is there anything I didn't like from the movie? Well, there are a couple of things, but particularly a moment in the intimate scene which I found a little bit forced and could end up being hilarious to some audiences. Yet, being Oppenheimer's story a character, diegetic, subjective retelling, even that moment ends up being coherent with the overall narrative. And there are other moments like that, including a blink and you miss it moment, as well as one where he technically didn't see something and yet he seems to retell that. I truly think Oppenheimer is one of the best in Nolan's filmography. And perhaps it actually is, all things considered. Hence, for the first time Wikos opened, I have to award the very first 10 out of 10 on our platform, and couldn't be otherwise. Oppenheimer is a magnificent film that will be considered by many a masterpiece, myself included. So, that was my review. Did you watch Oppenheimer? What did you think of it? Let me know down in the comments, and do so especially if you don't agree with me. I love talking films, I love to debate films, and I can't wait for Wikos user base to grow so I can discuss films with even more people than I do now. Also, if you like this video, be sure to leave a like and share it with friends, family, and honestly anyone who could be interested. Also, be sure to follow Wikos on all social media. We are on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, X as @WikosOfficial, and on TikTok as @WikosTikTok. The latter account has had some hiccups in recent weeks, but we are constantly working to bring it up to speed so you can enjoy the content even there if that's your favorite platform. Once again, my name is LukeRipa. Thank you so much for sticking around this video, and I'll see you next time here on Wikos. Ciao!